think of our industrialization, the demand and the road connectivity, the ports that are to be developed, Astarang, our Jagatsinghpur MP, who mentioned about fishing harbor. But the idea of the state government, as far as I understand, is to have another circular road starting from Govindpur via Kandarpur and also connecting Astarang and comes back to the place where the NH16, where this road starts. So it will be a circular road of the capital region. Keeping all this in mind, I would say this is a good beginning. And we should go ahead, and as I was saying, at the same time we have to preserve the nature. The sad part of Bhubaneswar has been all the springs have dried up. Not a single spring exists. That time we used to take credit that 9 springs were there in this capital. That's how Kedar Gauri water was the most healthy water to drink. But now it doesn't. Sewage is just flowing into Gangua and to the Daya river. My request would be, while we are developing the city, we also should keep the green cover. When you are planning for industries, we'll also try to keep those industries in such a way so that the human habitation will not get affected by that. Because these are certain things which the Western countries have always kept in mind. Whenever you go to any good city, they have greenery. And I used to joke with my friends in Cuttack, as per the population, when you have 35% of the population who are below age of 25, if one day they decide to come out on the streets, no other person can walk on that street. That is the situation. And how many fields do you have in a city like Cuttack, if we call it a city at all? We hardly have any open space there. At least when we are planning of a mega city, let us think of all those activities. I thank you, madam, for allowing me to say a few things, what I thought best. There is always a scope for addition, alteration, improvement, and I thank you all for patiently hearing me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We have noted all the suggestions, and certainly we also mentioned in the beginning, it's a dynamic document and there will be a mechanism where some improvements would be continuously made and as per the need of the state. Though we are late for the lunch, but I'm sure that the food for thoughts have been so nourishing, so I hope you will be able to sit for a few more minutes. Before going to the next session, I'll request our team to felicitate all the panelists who are on the dais. I'll request Arindam, Shatrugna, Saurendra, who are all there from team, they can quickly come and hand over the token of respect to our panelists. Thank you.
Thank you so much, esteemed ACS. Thank you, panel. What an insightful discussion that was. Can we have a round of applause for all the dignitaries for sharing their thoughts and ideas with us? Thank you, esteemed CEO Niti Aayog, with setting the context and starting the session. From there, I think, to esteemed chairperson, Honorable MP Cuttack, sharing the final notes of suggestions. That indeed was a lot of learning as to how we should proceed forward with BCPPER, transforming cities into development hubs. Definitely, we got a long way to go. Can we have a louder round of applause, please? Thank you, Honorable MP Jagatsinghpur, for those overwhelming words. Thank you, host team. These are small tokens of gratitude from the host team to remind the dignitaries that this day is so important for all of us, and every word spoken will be remembered and learned from. Love to have an official photograph of this absolutely successful technical session. Thank you, esteemed ACS, for driving us through this absolutely insightful session, and thank you, esteemed Director, Municipal Administration, for initiating the session and taking it forward.
Thank you so much. I'll request our team to see off the panelists. If they would like to join during the second session also, they are welcome, but it depends on their time and the constraint they have. We understand, sir. You can join for lunch here also or the state guest house. I think you have another engagement also, I believe, sir. Thank you so much from bottom of our heart, everyone. We certainly keep in touch and will be contacting you again. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, without any further delay, we will be starting the next technical session. Now that we have great ideas on how to transform cities into growth hubs, the next technical session will give us million reasons why the thrust should be on port, industries, tourism, logistic, and sharing their thoughts with all of us. As panelists, we will see participation from esteemed Transport Commissioner Odisha, Shri Amitav Thakur, Senior Urban Specialist World Bank, Shri Abhijit Shankar Ray, Founder Director Urban Management Center, Manvita Baradi, Consultant Niti Ayog, Kaustav Srivastav, and Chief Resident Executive Tata Steel, Mohit Das. Can we request dignitaries to please join us on stage? And the session will be moderated by esteemed ACS, Shrimati Usha Padi. I think with every technical session, the day is getting more and more insightful, informative, and we are all soaking in all the information, ideas, experiences, and suggestions that the dignitaries are giving us. So I'll request Director Municipal Administration to please take this session forward, as esteemed ACS will be joining us soon. So.
Thank you so much. I welcome all the panelists again to the second session. We have among us the Transport Commissioner of the Government of Odisha, Sri Amitav Thakur. He happens to be a very senior officer, and he has a vast experience of working in the field and also working from the headquarters, giving directions and also guiding the team. So welcome you, sir, and we really look forward to your contributions towards this plan so far as your experience for transit-oriented development is concerned. So we'll be glad to hear from you, sir. Next, we'll be also hearing from Sri Abhijit Shankar Roy, who is Senior Urban Specialist from the World Bank. We'll be glad to get his idea so far as our plan is concerned and how to save the future. Then, of course, Odisha is again not new to her, and she is also not very new to us. Miss Manvita Baradi, who is the Founder Director of Urban Management Center. So welcome you again. And Sri Kaustav Srivastav, Consultant from the NITI, will be also glad to hear from you. Sri Mohit Das, who is from the Tata Steels, we also welcome him to the panel. I request ACS ma'am to kindly moderate the session.
A big thanks to Arindam, who is a man Friday. Whatever and whenever we require him, he will fill up the gap and try to help us in all the way. So now we'll start having a very quick panel. I think number is also dwindling, if you can see. So it is very quickly we can go ahead and discuss. Maybe we can start with from my right side. We don't have any keynote as such now. So I'll request everybody to speak maybe 4 to 5 minutes about your views on BCPPR or how you will be able to see it in coming days. And then maybe we'll have a closing up round. Thank you so much. So over to Mr. Abhijit.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, congratulations for the launch of the report. I think it's a very encouraging thing that so many cities in India and states in India are taking this step, and you are right in front. And we really hope that as you try to implement this, we would be able to partner with you and support you. Earlier, CEO Niti Aayog said that there are so many proposals which are investment ready. So we stand ready with our investment and hopefully help you work with you to cross the final line. I was intending to speak on tourism and cultural heritage, but probably, ma'am, what I'll do is I have 4 remarks based on what I have heard today and what I've read in this. I haven't seen the full report, so please excuse me if I'm missing something. When we talk about growth hubs, economic regions, the general tendency is to think about greenfield. And I just want to remark, and I'm sure it's a part of your approach as well, I just want to remark that it's equally important to look at what the existing cities are and how they can be revitalized to contribute to that economic growth. So even in terms of funding or financing the land value capture, which CEO Niti was also mentioning, it's very important to look at it. And I went through the list of projects which were identified, and please pardon my ignorance if some of them are redevelopment projects, but it seemed most of them are greenfield projects. So just a remark for you to consider as you progress. The second, ma'am, was very surprising, and again, apologies if in ignorance I'm saying this, but the importance of housing and the need to provide housing is probably not coming out as strongly as it might be. It's important because when we look at tourism, cultural heritage, or we look at industrial development, we're looking at a new knowledge hub coming up. All this will require different types of segmented types of rental, segmented types of ownership housing. So that's the second point. The third point, ma'am, it was very encouraging to see the proposal to set up the ERDA. And one, based on experience in other countries as well as in Tamil Nadu, where we are doing something similar, is the request to see whether a very specialized small professional unit can be set up within the ERDA, which focuses on private sector catalyzing. I'm saying this because I know nodal departments will implement various projects, you will come up with innovative financing structures. But having that skill set at the center, which can work at scale, because here we are not talking a small scale, it's a huge scale, would be, and especially when multi-sectoral approach has to be taken, I think it would be very important. So again, for your consideration, ma'am. And we all spoke about, the previous session speakers spoke about the economic plan already there. There's a comprehensive mobility plan which ADB colleagues mentioned that they're working with you. So that gives you, ma'am, the opportunity to look at an integrated economic land use and transportation plan, which we have very recently worked with the city of Chennai. So hopefully the third master plan will reflect. And given all the fundamental foundational work is done, I think it's very good. Again, from the tourism heritage perspective, this is important because if you take this integrated approach, then there are a number of interventions that you could have a long-term vision of, both from the economic perspective and land use. Very simple example, ma'am, I think most of us would be aware, the Marina Bay area of Singapore. 30 years ago, it was planned as a flood resilience measure, right? But when it was planned as a flood resilience measure, they had also planned that within the next 10 years, it would contribute to the water security of the city, and then within the next 5 years to the tourism potential of the city. And today we know it as a tourist area. So that is the kind of planning I think we need to go for. So I'll just maybe just run through the slides. I will not read through the slides, but tourism and cultural heritage is a compelling agenda. It has a strong employment multiplier, so I think it's very important. Next slide, please. Any tourism strategy requires skill development and strengthening the MSME ecosystem, which is at the core of the World Bank Group's approach to tourism and heritage. So I'm just flagging that. Next, please. When we look at tourism again, there are different, because it's a large region, so there are different locations which have different potentials. And understanding, planning, and then delivering to that is important. One would always want to start from 1 and go up to 4, which is looking at high value returns in terms of tourism and cultural heritage. But there is a curve that has to be crossed, and that requires careful planning and implementation. Next, please. I'm not going to run through all of these, but just highlighting 2 points. One is the importance of regional cluster development. The World Bank has been working in multiple countries, moving from single city or single location to regional cluster development. Albania, Armenia, some examples, I'll show you some photographs. And the success of this, of course, depends on accessibility, it depends on housing, it depends on many other services, which are going to come as part of your economic plan anyway. So that is something I wanted to highlight. Next, please. Next. Next. Yeah, sure. I'll share this now. Yes. Some of the examples of what we are doing across the world. Next, please. What I want to highlight is because we are part of this larger World Bank group, which includes IFC, which is our private sector arm. So the approach that within the World Bank that we have is in the tourism and cultural heritage as well as the larger urban development. For every 100 rupees that we are putting in, we should be able to leverage at least 300 to 350 rupees of private sector capital. I think that is the call which has been given by our president who took over a couple of years ago. And that is what now we are doing in the state of Maharashtra, where we are looking at cities across the state, making sure there's a minimum of 3 times leverage in terms of getting the private capital in. And that, of course, requires a very careful look at what different cities have potentials, etc., etc. And that, ma'am, is something we'll be very happy to come and discuss with you and your team going ahead. Next, please. These are some examples. The previous one was on Indonesia. We focused more on the job multiplier and the private capital. This is of the Pro-Poor Uttar Pradesh project, which looked at Agra, Braj, and some of the Buddhist circuits. Next, please. The Madagascar project, where the focus was more on ecological and environment-based tourism. Again, taking a regional cluster approach. Next, please. Albania, which is one of the more well-known projects, which led to a complete transformation of some of its 7 urban centers or tourist centers that were focused as part of the project. Next, please. This just shows some of the before-after photographs as well as the impact that it has had. Next, please. It's the same project, again, before and after, you can see the difference. Next, please. This is an ongoing project which again looks to leverage at least 2 to 3 times of private capital as part of the regional cluster development approach. So ma'am, since we are short of time, I'm not going in details, but I'm sure I can come back, meet you and follow up on some of these.
Thank you so much. You know that the president of World Bank was also here. So there have been a lot of things happening behind the screen. So something will come up and maybe you will coming up with all those redevelopment and other project and working with us, especially housing and redevelopment. Let us see. Okay, thank you so much. And now I'll request Mr. Mohit Das, Chief Resident Executive Tata Steel Odisha. I know him as a Tata man since many, many years. He has been working and being a friend of Odisha. I think a lot of CSR projects and all, I remember him supporting the administration very. Again, for paucity of time, I'll be really making you to speak very fast. 5 minutes, maybe you can keep your timers and go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving us the opportunity, and I'd like to congratulate you first, along with the Government of Odisha team, for making this BCPPR Economic Region Report on. It has been a great learning session for me in this convention. But coming from an industrial background, born and brought up in the state, born in Cuttack, groomed in Bhubaneswar, and worked in Kalinga for 20 years, gives me an entire gamut of what is happening in Odisha. So we come from a background where, ma'am, now that you have taken over charge of IDCO, which again Kalinga comes back, so that is what the notification says. So, ma'am, as you are aware, as Honorable Cuttack MP also showed, Kalinga is going to be the growth engine of the state of Odisha, where when Government of India is looking at 300 million tons of steel by 2030, and out of that 100 million tons will come from Odisha, and out of the 30 million tons will come from Kalinga. So that is why Kalinga is known as the steel hub of India, I would say. So currently in the Kalinga we have 11 million tons of capacity, and by 2030 we expect to reach there by around 30-35 million tons of capacity at Kalinga. So there is an approved project of Ministry of Commerce of Kalinga National Investment and Manufacturing Zone, which was approved in 2020 and supposed to get completed in 2035. So it expects an integrated industrial cum urban housing complex, and it talks about a small city of the urbanization of 10 lakh people. That is what it envisages and wants to get completed in 2035. But one of the major exciting figures which was given to us, Odisha 1.5 trillion economy, 60% urbanization, and 3 points, 3 pillars which Chief Secretary told: prosperity, wellness and equity. What is the major thing today we are missing in Kalinga is the wellness part, the urbanization wellness. Today, in my 18 years of Kalinga in career, hardly I spend a night there. I come back to Bhubaneswar because the quality of life, the quality of urbanization, the quality of access to education, the quality of access to wellness spaces to reach. So what I've tried to find out, I would have tried to present if KNMZ can be developed as an integrated, as a hub and spoke model with the BCCPPR. It can become a spoke of BCCPPR, and we can look at all the economic corridor coming from KNMZ to Paradip and all the existing tourism locations. Let's say if my Japanese technical guys come, do they have access to Lalitgiri and Ratnagiri? Do they know that? Or let's say, do they have the access to Bhitaraganika National Park? Or let's say our existing temple tourism, Mahabreja Temple, or let's say the Ghatgaon Temple, how they link them as an integrated manner, so that a complex which houses around 10 lakh population by the year 2035 becomes an hub and spoke model for the BCPPR region. So that is my food for thought, and I request Government of Odisha to kindly have a look at it. That's all, ma'am, from my side.
Thank you for sharing your experience, and thanks also for saving some time. Thank you. Now I'll request Mrs. Manvita Baradi, and she has been pillar of strength to the department and helping us in various inclusive initiatives, whether it is a FSSM management or whether it is about even heritage they are talking now. So I request her to share her thoughts on BCPPR and also working with Odisha, considering this as a, one of the major initiative. How you will be able to help us. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am, and it's always been a pleasure to work in Odisha, being a very, very progressive state, and we've been engaged with ma'am and the urban team here since 2017 onwards, working on sanitation workers, safety, etc. This is a new topic, but not new topic for us. A new topic in our relationship when we are talking about heritage and planning. As Urban Management Center, a non-profit in this space for 25 plus years, and mostly biased towards urban. When people were not talking of urban, we are based out of Gujarat, so one thing is also we are much more urbanized as a state, but working with monuments, working with heritage, working with city planning as an embedded function within the local governments is a forte, and we would like to emphasize that that's how we should look at the regional planning which we've been talking about. So first, congratulations to Odisha, and way forward the way we would want to work with the state. Next, please. I'll maybe, as this region has a lot of potential, I'm not going into detail, but what I'm going to speak about is the tools required to, one, adhere to what has been spoken about, what the vision document speaks about, and what our MPs, MLAs have kind of put it to the department as a need to look at in much more detail. Next, please. I'll be focusing on the region as such, but what tangible and intangible heritage we have for the purposes of tourism, which will lead to economic development. So the region has a soul, I would say soul, identity, and the spirit, because it has a temple, it has the intangible heritage, and it also has the large economic port, which requires to go forward. If somebody can see my gesture so that I can speak, and next please, it will take time. So intangible heritage, the way performing arts in Odisha, it's not been spoken, but we need to look at, and in Gujarat, we've been a force as well as Performing Arts Institute, developed under the Urban Management Center. We're talking of theatre architecture, and Odisha has oldest caves, which were theatre, like Udaygiri caves. If people don't know about it, one should go and visit. Early on, a performing arts belt. These are intangible, tangible heritage we should also look at and talk about it next. I'll focus now on heritage management strategy for the urban growth here next. Looking at how to, a framework to even declare what is heritage is very critical to harness the economic value. We have come up with such models in the state and across the country. We're looking at how listing and grading of heritage structure would be one of the tools to achieve what we've been talking about, and we have some frameworks for that. Like for our work under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and working with the state government of Gujarat, we documented step wells, which are water structures, and the assets around it, and it has a whole framework of methodology of how to do it. These are tools your organizations can take it up. Urban, the heritage, which is urban heritage management plans for urban sectors, would also become very critical, which will give us ideas for mobility and climate change, which has been spoken about it. It should be an integrated document. Next, please. One has to look at, for instance, the way we've looked at Jodhpur city center and its rejuvenation. Such plans and all of the Odisha cities are so beautiful, we have to harness and have a process in making those plans to develop these. Under our Hriday program, which was Government of India's, we looked at Dwarika of Gujarat. And as you know, ma'am, we have a relationship between Puri and Dwarika as Lord Krishna in two differently looked at cities, and such planning documents become very important for decision makers to take these things forward. Looking at preparation of city plans with heritage embedded, not just monuments which could be just, like when we say monuments, it has an urban fabric around it, and we don't look at the fabric when we look at the monument. Next, please. So the development can happen, but people have to be looked at the center of the whole thing. One has to look at the Regulatory Act, which is the third point I'd like to make. Unfortunately, when we go to Cuttack, the kind of bylaws unfortunately don't exist, or maybe they're not implemented well. The buildings are so close to each other. There's water sanitation, ventilation, and all of these issues. One has to have a regulatory act with heritage management in perspective, and bylaws are the great tools for making that happen. Unless we do that, none of the economic planning which we're talking about it would be harnessed. Next. So looking at the fabric, again, bylaws are important. These are tools for us to be able to achieve what we can, and this has been, we've been able to do it in Dwarika with Sarkej Roja, and even the National Monument Authority have now accepted these bylaws for its future, and that has to be looked at our monuments in the Bhubaneswar being the city of 1,000 temples and a great university of temple architecture. Next, please. Next. Urban renewal and placemaking. We come from Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is the first UNESCO World Heritage City, and the kind of documents one has to come up with and then gets into implementation phase is just a snapshot of kind of studies which would be required to look at a city and the city fabric. Next. Along with that, the city could be divided into various zones, and how these zonal plans, which will give you a document for your development authorities and city departments to look at how one can integrate the monuments along with that, the other fabric. Next, and could have a toolkit of how contiguous development and the image of the city can be looked at. Next. Building on that, one has to look at how climate change and vulnerability would impact our cities to be able to garner more investment into it, and look at how such tools can be required and used to work with the city governments. The fifth point and the second last point is about strengthening governance structures. Ma'am, you mentioned in the morning, and a lot of deliberation on regional authorities, yes, required. Along with that, what would be the role of the city governments, which are statutory bodies, to be connected? Some deliberation need to happen. One can look at more committees of, say, like we have a Heritage Management Committee in various other states, and Gujarat has one. What kind of monitoring mechanisms one can look at? So a suggestion along with the PMU, etc., but looking at Heritage Committee, which will give guidance and direction based on what deliberations happen. Next. Heritage and tourism is a very complex subject. This is, it is cross departments, across ministries, and that you can't see it well, but the national, state, and the city governments are required, and there are a series of things to be achieved. If we create a roadmap of who does what, and this could be just a framework, we did it in Madhya Pradesh, but such an exercise can also be undertaken for Odisha, so that one can know for which aspect where to go, how to go, who to contact. So maybe this kind of an exercise could be a agency existing governance structure, which is complex, which could be simplified with your guidance and initiative. Next. And just a process simplification can also come up. Next. I think this is my last slide, but more questions we can take whenever we have time.
Thank you so much. Again, I'll remind that any delay, I fear that more people may go, so we'll expedite. Now over to Kaustubh Srivastav. I think entire document he has his hand to prepare. Very briefly, because I think because of your involvement, it doesn't, you may require whole day to explain, but now with whatever gist you can just mention how you went through and what is the way forward you look up to. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, thank you ma'am, for this opportunity. And being part of this BCPPR plan has given a lot of insights. I think our whole team has learned a lot. So firstly, I would like to point out some key highlights, I would say. For example, how growth drivers are converging in these whole economic plan, from transport, education. These are multi-sectoral, as ma'am pointed out. Tourism is not just a one sector or one department project. So, and one more major thing that BCPPR is positioned very well. For example, you have, this is also pointed out previously, that how Bhubaneswar is a service-based center, then Cuttack is an administrator, and same goes for Puri and Paradeep. They also have their own sectoral strengths. So, for example, transport, when we talk it from a tourism perspective, we gave a circuit-based approach. And so that tourists, when they are coming, they just don't go to one or two places and they have to go back. So they have a probably from 1 or 2 days to probably 5 days, they can go around many places, and this has been done in a circuit-based approach. So again, transport plays a major part in this. And these projects needs to be designed in who are experiential in nature. And all of this will eventually lead to growing up the local economy. From manufacturing perspective, the focus there is not merely on adding capacity, but predictability, safety, last mile access, and this is in terms of transport I'm talking about. And obviously education plays a major role. We have given a lot of knowledge corridors. These are sector specific corridors from manufacturing, tourism, and other growth drivers, chemical industry, textile. So all of these connects, and these colleges and whatever the institutions we have, they add on to it. And they've tried to integrate the academia, research, industry in a more cohesive way. Just to cut short, this economic plan moves forward as it moves from vision to implementation. Its success will depend not only on the identification of projects, which has already been done, but on how these projects are structured, sequenced, and integrated. The emphasis on allowing systems to evolve together, strengthening connectivity and institutions first, and progressively enabling more integrated and transformative outcomes. This approach ensures that BCPI growth remains coordinated, resilient, and aligned with its long-term aspirations. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaustubhji. Now, I have kept the best at the end. Now I'll invite Amitabh Thakur. He has been my favorite colleague just 2 days before when I left the Commerce and Transport Department. He has done extremely good work in transportation, not only as a regulator, he's mostly a facilitator, I see. He has done few initiatives, so I'll request him focusing on urban transportation and then the last mile connectivity, your views, and considering BCPPR initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You did not have to add till 2 days ago, because it's always, I was going to address you as my boss, and it's always good to have your boss on your right side. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be talking from the transport department's perspective. A lot of work has been done in this regard, and under the stewardship of Usha ma'am, and we had planned to do a lot more things. So it's good that she's there. She's steering this entire project of BCPPER. So as far as transport is concerned, I'm like, what do we look at? We look at some safe and assured transport. We look at the competitiveness. We also look at the predictability of deliverance of whatever is the intended, be it freight or passengers. So, I mean, even though I have a presentation, but I would like to speak extempore just to make it short. As far as safety is concerned, I mean, like, I'll just narrate. I happened to meet two professors from Germany at the Utkarsh University yesterday. So one of them was sporting a very nice band on his right wrist. I asked him, why is that? So he said that, no, my wife gave it to me. And they have been coming to Odisha for the past 30 years, saying that there is always risk of accidents when you move on the road. So you take this band. And he's actually right, because in this region, I'm like Khurda, under Khurda district, we have Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, and then parts of Jagat Singhpur, the Cuttack Paradeep Road or the Bhubaneswar, as far as Puri is concerned, the Bhubaneswar Puri Road, they are very susceptible to accident. And as Mr. Mohit Das said that he would travel from Kalinga Nagar to Bhubaneswar every evening. So the pace of travel is taken care of, but the safety is not taken care of. So we have done a lot as far as the safety and assurance of travel is concerned. I mean, the steps that is being taken for construction of the ring road. So that will help us to take out the conflict between different kinds of vehicles on the road. We will also be able to segregate the goods traffic, because now we have the situation where National Highway passes through two of the most populous, I would not say cities, two of the most populous towns of Odisha. Now that is something not very, it's not very good. So once this ring road, the three-tier ring road comes into being, we'll be able to take care of that. We'll be able to send the freight traffic, which will also help in reducing the time of travel. Then, as far as logistics are concerned for freight transport, again, I'm like, Usha ma'am did this. We'll have a full-fledged logistic park, which will have multimodal facilities at Paradeep. I mean, inside the Paradeep Port Trust, a huge logistic park with parking facility for more than 1,500 trucks. We'll also have a railhead there, and then also connectivity with the inland waterways to Paradeep. So this takes care of most of your problems. Now we'll come to the cost factor. As far as the goods freight transport is concerned, I believe it's almost around 6.5 rupees per ton per kilometer, whereas the national average is roughly around half of that. Now, what is the solution that we are looking at? In this BCPPER region, we have many truck associations. We have individual truck owners also, and nobody talks with each other. So, ma'am had, in fact, she had floated the idea that let's bring them all together. Let's explain reason to them. Let's do something like has been done in Anand by Amul, I believe. So we have already taken many steps in that direction. We have brought 2-3 truck associations on the same platform. That also takes care of the many court cases that we keep fighting and the truck associations keep fighting. So this will help them pool in their resources, and then it also helps us in that the newer trucks are sent for long distance travel, and the older ones, they take they transport goods within the only for short distances. Then public transport, as somebody was mentioning in the previous session, that a lot of individual personal vehicles are being purchased in Odisha. So, this is for the information of the House that 70% of the total sales of vehicles in Odisha is of two-wheelers. Now, why is that? That's because the concentration of bus per lakh population is one of the least in Odisha. I mean, it's even lesser than as compared to Bihar and West Bengal, which are very populous states. We aren't a very populous state. So what are we doing about that? So this capital region urban transport, Mukhyamantri bus seva. So all these are being introduced. We now are also catering for last mile connectivity. A couple of days ago, Honorable Union Home Minister announced the Bharat taxi service. For the information of everybody, we have a similar app, and the government of Odisha under Department of Housing and Urban Development has been doing the same thing in the name of Odisha Yatri. I would request all of you to book your travel on Odisha Yatri, where we are not charging any commission from the drivers, and we have already crossed 1 crore rides, and this has been done over a short span of time, and this is being now planned for not only multimodal transport, but you'll also have deliverance of services on this application. When, as ma'am said, that when we go abroad, even at places where you don't know the local language, all you need is a tourist information card where you can plan your travel, you know which mode of transport to take. So she said that we should have an app where while sitting at home, I should be able to book my travel from my home to, say, Jagannath Temple in Puri. I don't have to go to from my home to the nearest bus stop and then plan my travel. So all this is being done, and I'm sure the experts here will be able to add value to what is being done. Then comes the EV policy. We have one of the most robust electric vehicle policy. In EV policy 1, we had focused more on giving subsidies for purchase of electric vehicles. In EV policy 2, we have taken that many steps forward. We also have off-the-grid charging facility for the vehicles. Those are being used in the ports. We have not only increased the subsidy for private vehicles, we have also introduced subsidy for heavy commercial vehicles. And then to help them, we are setting up public charging stations all over the place. So within the next 1 year, all our highways will be green corridors. Then most of the important roads, including the road from Bhubaneswar to Cuttack to Paradeep and Bhubaneswar Puri, will be a complete green corridor. This helps us in lessening the emission, and the region in the state, since we'll see many more vehicles in the coming few years. So our electric vehicle policy will definitely help in that regard. So, but this is some of the things that we have been doing, and looking forward to your suggestions and looking forward to continued guidance of my boss, who is always my boss. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That is so kind of you, Amitabh. But I am sure all the good works, he has a huge contribution. I will not open it for any questions because already it is 2:40. I should not testing your patience much. But as I said earlier in the beginning, you have the card. Please put your questions or suggestions. And believe we will certainly look into those things with much attention. And one of our team member can collect those cards also if you have written, and or you have collected. Yes, very good. That thumbs up. So now I'll request my team to come over on the dais and felicitate the panelist. And I'll request you to come and give the souvenir and also stand. I did not have a good photograph with any of our members. They are coming and going, doing all the hard work. Please, now we'll have an opportunity. With the panelists, we'll have a group photo also. So I'll request our urban team members to come on the dais and we can take a picture. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'll request the souvenirs can come. Fast. The souvenir which we have been giving to the panelists, it's a small jewelry made by Bonda tribals of Malkangiri. So they are primitive tribes, what we call PVTGs, and they have made it under the skilled in Odisha. So they were trained and they are doing it, it can enhance their livelihood. So we thought what best can be their, souvenir when we can contribute to their livelihood as well as it is a masterpiece in your drawing room. Thank you. So we'll come in front of the table so that all of us can take the picture. Thank you. So anybody who is on the off the dais, my team members, please come. It is an opportunity for us to take a picture.